The nanny's daughter tampered with my college entrance exam choices, changing Peking University to Qingyao. She accused me of deliberately changing my choices out of spite, and my parents were so angry they disowned me. She spread rumors about me, and my boyfriend publicly called me disgusting in front of the entire school. She deliberately sowed discord, and one by one, my friends distanced themselves from me. My life was in despair, yet she went to college using the money my father funded. On her deathbed, she smiled and said she would take over everything, receiving all the love from my parents, boyfriend, and friends. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day I filled out my college application. The maid's daughter stood at the bedroom door, smiling, and asked, "Iris, have you finished filling out your application?" Adeline wore a Dior white dress, Cartier necklace and bracelet, complemented by her fair oval face and innocent eyes, looking as elegant and delicate as a jasmine flower. This kind of elegance isn't something her mother, earning $6,000 a month, could cultivate. She spoke in an affectionate tone, as if genuinely happy for me. I squinted. 3 years ago, when she came to our house, my parents and I treated her like family. Whatever I ate, wore, or used, my family would prepare a set for her as well. My dad used his connections to get her into this prestigious high school. My mom hired a top-tier tutor for me, and she attended all the lessons with me. I brought her into my circle of wealthy, second-generation friends to help her fit in. I told everyone that Adeline was like a sister to me. Yet even after all that, in my past life, with her dying breath, she said she was tired of living in my shadow. My money, my parents' love, my stellar grades, my handsome boyfriend. She was driven mad with jealousy by it all. It took dying once for me to finally understand. An ingrate is an ingrate. You can't ever warm their cold heart. I forced a faint smile. Yeah, I'm from Peking University. Have you filled out your application? With your score, you should be able to get into a second-tier university without a problem. Adeline pursed her lips and didn't respond. After 3 years of the same education, I scored 680 and she scored 480. No wonder she resents me. But you're not smart yourself, and you don't allow others to be excellent. It's laughable that I genuinely suggested she could try repeating a year. She walked in and took my hand. "Iris, dinner is ready. My mom said she made a lot of your favorite dishes to celebrate you getting into Peking University." I withdrew my hand from hers and said flatly, "Got it. I'll be down in a minute." She was taken aback for a second, then immediately smiled and said, "Okay, hurry up. I'll go get your mom and dad." I called out to Adeline as she was leaving. I speak casually, like chatting with friends. Please knock before entering my room in the future. Basic manners are still important, don't you think? Adeline's face turned pale. I used to think of her as my own sister. I had no secrets from her, and she never had to knock before entering my room. A flicker of resentment flashed in Adeline's eyes before she bit her lip and whispered, "I'm sorry, Iris. I'll be more careful from now on." After she left, I turned my gaze to the computer screen. I had already submitted my college application. Today is the last day to submit college applications. Looking back, in my previous life, Adeline must have sneaked into my room and secretly changed my application after I had finished filling it out. I could go downstairs right now and send her and her mother away, preventing her from having this opportunity. However, it would be difficult to explain to my parents. And besides, Adeline caused me so much suffering and has such a wicked heart. Simply sending her away would be too lenient. I fiddled around on the computer for a while, then went downstairs. Adeline didn't know what she was saying, but it had her parents laughing out loud. Her father confidently said, "Adeline, it's okay if the school isn't that great. Don't worry, after graduation, you can come work at your uncle's company, and I'll give you a monthly salary of $20,000. She said thank you to her uncle with admiration and gratitude. Her mother stood to the side, grinning from ear to ear. Adeline has a way with words and knows how to charm my parents better than I, their own daughter, ever could. That's how, in my past life, she managed to find the opportunity to slander me to them, claiming I was throwing my future away just to spite them. I squeezed myself between her and my dad, threw my arms around his neck, and planted a kiss on his cheek. Dad, what about me, huh? Your daughter got into Peking University. That's something to be proud of, right? Tell me, am I amazing or what? Dad was momentarily stunned. After all, I hadn't been this affectionate with him since I was a child. In front of others, Adeline, who always knew how to please him, seemed more like his real daughter. Realizing what was happening, he laughed with great joy and said loudly, "Excellent, excellent. Of course, my daughter is the best. Do you even need to worry about finding a job after graduation? I'm afraid if I ask you to come back, you won't even want to." I said, "It's easy for me to come back. Just hand the company over to me to manage." My parents both laughed at my joke, and my mom ruffled my hair. "Good girl. Your dad would be over the moon." I glanced at Adeline. She was watching our family of three, her eyes practically burning with hatred, yet she pretended to be happy with us. After dinner, I said I was going out. In the past, whenever I went out to meet friends, I would always take Adeline along. But today, I deliberately didn't invite her. Of course, even if I had called her, she would have found an excuse not to go. After all, she had bigger fish to fry. I was lounging on the cafe's sofa, leisurely playing a game. Just then, my phone alerted me that my computer had been turned on. I opened the software, and my laptop's camera clearly captured Adeline's twisted, venomous face. She stared intently at the computer screen, and 5 minutes later, she revealed a triumphant smile. I smirked and called her. When Adeline looked down and saw it was me calling, she panicked instantly. She immediately shut down the computer and bolted out of my room. "Hey, Adeline, what are you up to? Took you long enough to answer." "Oh, nothing much. I was just taking a nap." "Huh, so do you want to come hang out? I'm on my period and not feeling too great." "Oh, all right, then go back to sleep." I stayed out until evening before returning home. The volunteer application system was already closed, and Adeline looked refreshed. I asked her, "Adeline, you look very happy. What's the good news?" Adeline covered her mouth and laughed. "Not that, it's just that I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's school prom." "Oh, Iris, are we going to pick out our dresses for the prom tomorrow morning?" As I walked upstairs, I said, "The dress? Tiana, and I already picked one out today. You go by yourself tomorrow morning. I'll have the driver take you." Adeline's mouth dropped open. Iris." I waved her off, pretending to be sleepy, and went straight into the room. Adeline had grown accustomed to being a freeloader for 3 years. To spare her pride, I would thoughtfully arrange everything for her, never requiring her to ask. She naturally assumed that I would take her to pick out dresses, shoes, and jewelry, and then foot the bill. That's exactly what I did in my past life. At the ball, Adeline was like Cinderella in her finest, captivating everyone's attention. When I heard people praising her beauty and saying she was a credit to me as her sister, I felt incredibly proud. That was the very night she and my boyfriend, Cyrus, snuck off to fool around on the rooftop behind my back. Just thinking about Cyrus sends a chill straight to my core. He confessed to me after the college entrance exam, and that's how we got together. I only told Adeline about this. However, Adeline secretly hooked up with Cyrus behind my back. In other words, Cyrus cheated on me with Adeline less than a month after we started dating. What's most infuriating is that despite being the despicable pair, they both tried to frame me, making it impossible for me to hold my head high in front of the entire school. I called my Sonda coach. "Gail, I need your help tomorrow. The dance is in the evening." The next day, I deliberately stayed in bed until noon. Cyrus messaged me, asking what time I was going to school, and casually asked if Adeline would be coming along. I let out a cold laugh and told him we both would be going. When Adeline saw me finally coming downstairs, she sprang up from the sofa, looking at me eagerly. "Iris, let's stick together. You have a good eye. I need your help to choose my dress and makeup." I smiled. The real goal was to get me to pay, not to get my opinion. I didn't refuse. After dinner, I had the driver take us both. I'm a regular at the luxury boutique, so the sales associates treat me with great deference. Seeing Adeline decked out in the designer clothes I gave her, they naturally assumed she was a wealthy heiress. I put together an outfit for Adeline with a price tag nearing 6 figures. Her eyes lit up and she said gleefully, "Iris, you really do have the best taste." I told her to go try it on right away. Formal gowns are a hassle to put on. Seizing the moment while Adeline was in the fitting room, I told the sales associate I had an urgent matter to attend to and had to leave, and that my sister could take her time browsing. The sales assistant certainly didn't expect Adeline to be unable to pay, so she respectfully saw me off. I took my dress, and half an hour later, Adeline called. "Iris, when are you coming back?" "Adeline, have you picked one?" "I can't make it right now. How about we just meet at school? The driver is waiting at the door, don't worry." When she heard I wasn't coming back, Adeline panicked. She stammered for a long moment, but in the end, she couldn't bring herself to ask me to come back and pay the bill. "Oh, what was I thinking? I forgot to settle the bill with you first." Adeline let out a long sigh of relief when I hit the nail on the head, then fell silent, waiting for me to continue. "Adeline, just use your card for now. I really can't make it over there." I didn't give her a chance to respond and quickly hung up the phone. Adeline thought I didn't know, but for years she'd been secretly selling off the expensive gifts my parents gave her. Her little nest egg is even bigger than her mother's. She spends our family's money without a second thought, but it absolutely kills her to spend her own. Good. The pain is just beginning. That evening, Adeline arrived at the venue right on time in our family car. Just like in her past life, she was dressed like a princess from a fairy tale, akin to the stunningly beautiful heroine who makes a grand entrance at the end of an idol drama, instantly capturing the attention of everyone in the room. In the end, she gritted her teeth and bought that gown. Cyrus was completely mesmerized. "Iris, Adeline truly lives up to being your cousin. She looks so elegant when she dresses up." Yes, you two sisters are the face of our high school. Too bad her grades are way behind Iris's. Why do you care? Adeline always wears designer clothes, shoes, and bags. She's a rich girl. Her grades don't matter. Adeline almost lost herself in the praise, flitting around the room like a butterfly all night. Everywhere she went, after a few whispered words to someone, I'd catch people giving me strange looks. I knew it. She had started subtly bad-mouthing me. Adeline knew all my connections. With just a slight twist of her words, she could make anything sound off. For instance, she'd tell those who didn't make it into the broadcasting club that I only joined to spite her and steal her spot. Or she would tell her target classmates from a top 985 university that I gave up my guaranteed admission to that university because I thought it was terrible and only trash would go there. I quietly watched her perform. It's okay. The higher you fly, the harder you fall. Once I expose Adeline's false facade, all the rumors will fall apart on their own. By then, those she deceived will unleash double the fury upon her. As the ball was drawing to a close, a glass of juice spilled on my gown, and Adeline exclaimed in shock, tearfully apologizing to me. I said it was fine since it was almost over, and I would just change into my own clothes. Adeline wanted to accompany me to change, but I, as I had in my previous life, declined, telling her to keep enjoying herself. I walked alone to the changing room, holding up my skirt. Once I was out of sight, I made a phone call. "Gail, come over now." The changing room was actually a small conference room. The long oval conference table was pushed against the wall, leaving enough space for someone to hide. After Gail dragged a shifty-eyed, scrawny man out from under the conference table, the man was so terrified he nearly wet himself. He was Adeline's cousin, a lowlife who had hidden there specifically to take nude photos of me. In my past life, completely unaware, I was photographed by him. Adeline used those photos to utterly destroy my reputation. Adeline's cousin begged me, through tears, not to call the police. I coldly stared at him and said, "Since you love taking sneaky photos so much, I'll give you a chance. If you don't want it, I wouldn't mind sending you straight to the police." 20 minutes later, I changed clothes and returned to the venue. Adeline and Cyrus were both gone. A few more minutes passed, and the host announced that the final raffle was about to begin. Adeline returned, her cheeks flushed. I pretended not to know. "Adeline, where did you go?" It was too stuffy in the venue. I stepped out for some air. I nodded and muttered to myself, wondering why Cyrus wasn't here either. He's going to miss the prize draw. Adeline stood beside me, her eyes gleaming with smug arrogance. Maybe she went to the restroom. The prize draw worked by having everyone's photo scroll in a loop on the big screen, starting from the third prize, then the second, the first, and finally the grand prize. In my past life, when it came time for the grand prize, it wasn't some lucky winner's face that appeared on the big screen. It was mine. Since the dress was off the shoulder, it left me nearly naked underneath when I took it off. Adeline's cousin deliberately showed his hand from certain angles, making it look like I was fooling around with a man in the fitting room. The first prize had already been drawn when Cyrus arrived late. After shyly exchanging a glance with him, Adeline excitedly stared at the big screen, her eyes filled with madness and her clasped hands trembled slightly with excitement. In my past life, I thought she was nervous because she cared too much about the grand prize. The host hyped up the atmosphere. Everyone in the venue stared at the screen, and they all counted down together. 3, 2, 1, stop. Instead of cheers, there was a dead silence. Cyrus stood to my left and Adeline to my right. Both of them panicked at the same time. A girl in a pink tutu knelt between the boys' legs. The guy leaned against the wall, his handsome face showing extreme enjoyment. Everyone present, not children, could clearly understand what the two people in the photo were doing. The dim lighting did not prevent everyone from instantly recognizing that the protagonists were Adeline and Cyrus. I furrowed my brow. I knew those two were up to something, but actually seeing it live, Adeline managed to thoroughly disgust me. She really will stop at nothing. Adeline and Cyrus were stunned, frozen in place and completely at a loss. A few seconds later, the teacher and the host hurriedly turned off the big screen. The realization finally hit everyone like a boulder crashing into a lake, and the place absolutely erupted. Holy shit. No way. Adeline and the school heartthrob? That's fucking wild. Who would have thought? Adeline's always so poised and perfect, but she really gets down in private. Well, what do you expect when Cyrus is the school heartthrob? Though I always thought he was into Iris. So, what if he's popular? A girl with no self-respect is just pathetic, no matter how rich she is. The whispers grew louder and louder. The crowd, thrilled by the juicy gossip, didn't even bother to lower their voices despite the two people involved being right there. A few girls who had it out for Adeline started jeering loudly on purpose, hurling insults like slut, trash, and worse than a prostitute. As the comments grew increasingly vulgar, Adeline's composure shattered. Her face was a vivid tapestry of shame, rage, and utter bewilderment. Of course, it never crossed her mind that according to her own plan, I was supposed to be the one on that screen, the one being gossiped about and scorned, the one drowning in humiliation. How did it end up being her? She couldn't even try to deny it was her in the video. It's not like everyone was blind. Adeline covered her face and tried to bolt, but I grabbed her arm and yanked her back. A joke. How could I ever let her go? Stay right here and keep embarrassing yourself. With my left hand, I held onto Adeline for dear life, while my right hand delivered a stinging slap across Cyrus's face. Cyrus, how dare you treat my sister like this? What do you take me for? I put all my strength into that slap. Despite being a girl, all those years of practicing Sanda weren't for nothing. Cyrus staggered, almost falling over into others. I hit him to seek justice for my beloved sister. But Cyrus knew full well that his affair with Adeline was cheating and betrayal in my eyes. As expected, Cyrus was guilty and didn't dare to get angry when I hit him. Instead, he quickly begged for my forgiveness. Adeline seduced me first. It's true. She was the one who invited me to the rooftop. She's your sister. I thought she had something important to tell me, so I went. Cyrus grew even more anxious as he saw I remained unmoved and started to speak without thinking. Iris, it's really not my fault. Adeline is just a cheap slut. How could I possibly like her? Adeline, who was being held by me, shuddered and stared at Cyrus in disbelief with wide eyes. She thought she had won Cyrus away from me with her charm, unaware that he only saw her as a plaything. I struggled to hold back a laugh, but my face grew even angrier as I pointed at his nose and yelled, "That's bullshit. I won't let you slander my sister like that. What gives you the right to call her a slut? Do you have any proof?" Provoked by my words, Cyrus immediately pulled out his phone, tapping on it while raising his voice. "Here's the WeChat message she just sent me, asking me to meet her on the rooftop. And get this. These are the photos Adeline sent me the other day while she was in the shower. She claimed it was an accident, yeah, right. What a pathetic excuse. She was just trying to flirt with me." Those standing close enough caught a glimpse of the dozens of bathroom photos on Cyrus's phone. A wave of murmurs swept through the crowd, and the looks directed at Adeline grew even more scornful. Adeline was utterly mortified, wishing the ground would swallow her whole. She tried to pull away and flee, but I held her wrist in a firm grip. I spat out a disdainful paw. "The photo must be AI-generated, right? This body definitely isn't Adeline's. I can call Adeline's mom right now and have her identify it." Adeline flinched in fear when she heard I was going to call her mom. No one knew her mom was our family's housekeeper. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she probably hated me to death at that moment, but she had no choice but to plead with me in a trembling voice. "Iris, I don't want to stay here anymore. Can we please just go?" I looked at her with a pang in my heart, then turned and said coldly to Cyrus, "Cyrus, Adeline is still a minor. How could you do something like this? Unless you're telling me you two are officially dating now. Adeline's birthday is in 2 weeks, which means she's not 18 yet." Cyrus was quick to deny it. "Who said we're dating? It was really her who seduced me first, believe me." I just frowned, indicating that I didn't believe a word he said. Adeline didn't dare to argue back. She just dragged me away. Since our goal was already achieved, I let her pull me out of the venue. On the way back, Adeline cried and apologized to me. I generously said, "Adeline, I don't blame you." Adeline looked up uncertainly and asked me, "Iris, you really don't blame me?" "Of course, you're my sister, and I trust you. Tell me, did Cyrus force you to do it?" Adeline's mouth half open, utterly astonished. After all, she did that with my boyfriend, and with the evidence on Cyrus's phone, any normal person would consider hitting her a mild reaction. Adeline hesitated for a few seconds as if making up her mind, then nodded. "Yes, I accidentally sent him some selfies I took for fun, and he used them to threaten me, saying he would expose them if I didn't do what he wanted."
Wah.
"Iris, I'm really scared. I didn't mean to interfere with you two." Adeline seemed to really get into the act as she broke down in tears. "Don't worry. I'll tell my dad about this and have him help you get justice." "No," Adeline suddenly cried out. Realizing she had overreacted, she explained sheepishly, "What I mean is, I don't want to make a big deal out of this. I especially don't want my uncle to get on the wrong side of Cyrus's parents because of me. Iris, please, can we just let this go? I'm begging you." She was genuinely terrified. Cyrus's family wields significant power locally, and Adeline schemed to take Cyrus away not just to spite me, but also because of this. However, this also means that if she offends Cyrus, the Lin family will definitely not let her off the hook. Facing Adeline's desperate pleas, I agreed. At the doorstep, I remembered I left my phone in the car and told her to go in first. Back in the car, I didn't hesitate and immediately dialed 110. "Officer, I'd like to anonymously report a case involving the use of nude photos to blackmail and sexually assault an underage girl. Yes, I have photos of the victim and a recorded confession as evidence. I'll have someone deliver it to the police station shortly. It proves she was coerced." After reporting it to the police, I asked the driver to come home with me. As soon as I reached the door, I heard a man's furious roar and the sound of things being smashed inside. My parents are on a business trip this morning, so logically, only Adeline and her mom should be home right now. The driver cautiously stopped me. I assured him it was fine and pushed the door open to walk in. "I'm telling you right now, if you don't give me the money, I'm not leaving." A scruffy, unkempt middle-aged man lounged sloppily on my sofa. "My mom and I don't have any money. Staying here won't help you." "Adeline, you've really grown up, huh? Living in a villa, riding in luxury cars with your mom every day while your old man is out there suffering. Do you even know? So what? I've already cut ties with you. Cut ties? No matter how far you go, you'll always be my Griffin's blood. This man is Adeline's biological father, a drunkard and a gambler. Adeline despises him to the core. I cleared my throat, and the three arguing people were startled. Adeline's mom was the most nervous. Iris. I wasn't angry, and greeted them cheerfully. Is this Uncle Griffin? Although Griffin looked like a scoundrel, he didn't dare to be too reckless in front of me, his master, especially since I was with someone. He straightened up. Yes, I'm here to find my wife and daughter. Once I get the money, I'll leave. Adeline was already exhausted from the ball, and now that I've seen her vulnerable side, she's even more furious. What daughter? Who's your daughter? Are you leaving or not? If you don't leave, we'll call the police and report you for trespassing. Griffin didn't care about Adeline's threats, but when I appeared, he became wary. I smiled. Adeline, I think Uncle Griffin must be in some kind of trouble, otherwise, he wouldn't have come here looking for you. If you can help, just do it. After all, blood is thicker than water and family ties can't be severed. Adeline and her mom didn't expect me to say that. Her mom quickly explained to me in a panic, Iris, you don't know. This scoundrel is a bottomless pit. He's already drained all our money. Griffin, seeing that I was actually on his side, relaxed and started showering me with compliments. TSK, 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 look at this. Now that's the poise of a true young lady of nobility. Adeline, you live together, eat together every day, yet you can't even compare to her in the slightest. Huh, that's a good point. I like hearing that. Adeline was hit right where it hurts. What she cares about most is the gap between us, which is why in her previous life, she went to great lengths to get everything I had. At this moment, she was so angry she could have ground her teeth to dust, but she didn't dare to vent her anger at me, so she directed it at her dad instead. She tried to pull Griffin up from the sofa. Get out. We will absolutely not give you any money. I chimed in at the right moment. Adeline, be careful. That's the $60,000 dress you just bought. Don't ruin it.
What?
$60,000. The man struggling with Adeline froze. He stared in disbelief at the dress she was wearing, his expression shifting from confusion to outright fury. The next instant, his face twisted into a snarl. He swung his arm and landed 2 heavy slaps across Adeline's face. You little bitch. I've been running around like a damn dog, hiding from everyone over 10 grand, and you dropped 60,000 on a dress? And you had the nerve to tell me you were broke. Adeline was completely unprepared and was knocked to the ground with a slap. Along with her, a bloodied tooth fell to the ground. You damn bastard. I'm going to fight you. Adeline's mother cried out and tried to hit Griffin, but he pushed her away, causing her to fall to the ground. The driver shielded me in front, fearing Griffin might go berserk at me. Griffin still seemed unsatisfied and kicked Adeline in the stomach. Adeline cried out in pain and immediately curled up like a shrimp. Don't think I don't know it's you who's stopping your mom from giving me money, and you even wish I'd die. I should have drowned you when you were born. I glanced at Adeline, who was groggily struggling to get up, feeling a sense of satisfaction inside, but I put on an anxious expression. Uncle Griffin, how could you hit someone? At this moment, the security guard from the neighborhood is knocking on the door, asking what happened in the house. I gave the driver a look, and he immediately went to open the door. Seeing more people, Griffin didn't dare to act recklessly anymore, and despite his dissatisfaction, he could only grumble as the security guards escorted him out. The security in the villa area is actually very good. Her father tried many times in his previous life, but never found a way in. The reason he was able to show up at my house today is that I had someone give him a temporary access card. Yes, I intentionally let him in. In my past life, after I came home in disgrace from the ball, Adeline took advantage of my parents' absence to secretly report on me behind my back. She told them I had been caught in a compromising situation with someone, that the whole school had seen it, and that I had brought utter shame upon the family. Although my parents doted on me, our family discipline was extremely strict. They couldn't possibly accept such a scandal. They flew back first thing the next morning to give me a stern lesson. Even though I tried my best to explain, with Adeline's slanderous accusations already planted and that inexplicable man in the photo, my parents were utterly disappointed in me. Adeline herself never had a proper family growing up. That's precisely why she couldn't stand the love my parents showered on me. This time, not only did I replace the person who brought shame with her, but I also made her endure the insults and beatings from her most despised biological father right in front of me. After Griffin left, I looked down at Adeline on the ground, having no intention of helping her up. Auntie, Adeline, what's going on? Why did you let such a dangerous person into my house? I emphasized the word, my house, deliberately. Adeline's mother flushed, at a loss for words. I continued, you've been with our family for quite some time now. I believe neither I nor my parents have ever treated you poorly. Therefore, I must ask you to sort out your own domestic affairs. I do not wish to see a repeat of today's incident. Adeline clutched her stomach, clearly in agony, yet her eyes burned with malice. Her entire face was contorted with intense hatred, bearing no resemblance whatsoever to the stunning vision that had captivated the entire ballroom just hours before. Adeline's mother cherished her life with her daughter in my home and kept apologizing to me, promising it would never happen again. Then she fearfully asked me, Iris, Adeline seems to be seriously injured. I'm so scared. Should we go to the hospital? I went straight upstairs, leaving the mother and daughter with my back. Go ahead if you want to. The driver might not be far, so let him take you. I won't be as naive as before, rushing to care for Adeline just because she has a headache or fever. Perhaps from this moment on, Adeline will start to suspect that something is gradually off with me. But who cares? Tonight was a nightmare for her, but tomorrow an even bigger one awaits. I slept well, woke up, and checked my phone. Adeline's mom had already called me countless times and sent dozens of messages. Iris, Adeline and I are at the police station. They've been questioning Adeline alone for hours. I'm so worried. Did something happen at the school dance? I asked her, but she wouldn't tell me. I'm so worried, Iris. Please come and help her, or ask your parents to intervene, okay? Adeline is still young, and she's about to go to college. She can't afford to get into trouble. To be honest, Adeline's mom truly cares for her, but she's so protective of her daughter that in her previous life, even knowing that her daughter tampered with my college application, she still covered it up for her. Therefore, I can't feel sorry for her at all. I texted her mom back. Auntie, I just woke up. I'll be right over. I'd better hurry, or I'll miss the main event. I picked out a nice dress and did my makeup in the car, making sure I'd look my best when I saw Adeline. I saw the Lin family's luxury car parked at the entrance. As soon as I walked in, I saw Cyrus's mother interrogating Adeline's mother fiercely, but she knew nothing and could only cry. Why are you crying? What status does my son have? Would he even look at the daughter of a nanny? It must be your shameless daughter who seduced my son first. I cleared my throat lightly, and when Cyrus's mother saw me, her expression softened slightly. Iris, since Adeline is always with you, you must know something, right? Given the relationship between our parents, I hope you'll be honest with me. I couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry, Auntie. Even though I think of Adeline as a little sister, I believe in fairness over favoritism. I'll tell you everything I know. Cyrus must have been taken away so suddenly that he didn't have a chance to tell his mother what had happened. So I laid out the whole story from last night's dance step by step, including how Cyrus finally showed everyone the bathroom photo Adeline had sent him and the WeChat message asking him to meet on the rooftop. Cyrus's mother could verify any of this by asking just about anyone who was there. After hearing this, Cyrus's mother became even more convinced of her son's innocence. So, it was that little tramp who seduced my son. I heard it was Adeline herself who falsely accused my son of threatening her, which is why the police took him away. Is that right? I shrugged. That I would know. I'll stop here. I don't want the Lin family to find out that I was deliberately stirring up trouble. At this moment, Adeline finally came out. She was still wearing that six-figure gown. After just one night, Her meticulously styled hair and makeup were a mess, her face haggard and pale, looking like a ghost. Right behind her came Cyrus. The female police officer next to her said sternly, "We have clarified the situation." Adeline admitted that all her actions with Cyrus were voluntary, with no coercion involved. Of course, summoning Cyrus for questioning is part of our standard procedure. Please understand, parents. Now that the facts are clear, you can leave after signing. Adeline's mother breathed a sigh of relief, while Cyrus's mother glared at Adeline. Cyrus's mother didn't make a scene and cooperated with the police to sign the document. I watched Adeline from behind the crowd, my eyes gleaming with amusement. No matter how much she tried to explain and absolve Cyrus, taking all the blame onto herself, she had now completely offended the Lin family. I knew she must be terrified right now. Sure enough, as soon as we stepped out of the police station, Adeline pretended not to notice Cyrus's mother's death glare and grabbed me. "Iris, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. Can you take me home quickly?" "Home?" Adeline nodded eagerly. I pulled my arm away from her grasp. "Adeline, you're an adult now. Can you be more precise with your words? That's my house, not yours." Adeline's eyes widened, unable to believe what I had just said. Cyrus's mother suddenly spoke up. "After all, you're a boy and you're responsible for this too. I think we should invite Ms. Adeline to our home as a guest to make amends." Cyrus's mother said that, but the malice in her eyes was almost overflowing. Both Adeline and I knew exactly what that meant. Adeline shook her head and shouted, "No, I won't go. I refuse." But reality gave her no choice. The Lin family's bodyguards practically carried her to the car, while Cyrus's mother intercepted Adeline's mom. Since the two of them have gone this far, they're clearly in a relationship. She's just going to her boyfriend's house for a visit. There's nothing to worry about. Then the Lin family took Adeline and drove off in a hurry. I watched them leave with satisfaction. Cyrus's mother is tough, and it's said that she once caught several of Cyrus's father's mistresses, and their endings were quite miserable. "Adeline, you're in for some trouble." As I was about to get into the car, Adeline's anxious mother tried to follow me in, but the driver stopped her. "Auntie, you've worked hard at our house these past few years. I've already transferred this month's salary to your card, including an extra personal thank you bonus from me. I've had your and Adeline's belongings at our house packed up and sent to your home in the south of the city." Before Adeline's mother could react, I had already closed the car door. The southern part of the city I mentioned is where Adeline's dad is currently living. Initially, I felt sorry for Adeline living with such an unreliable father, so I suggested to my parents that we bring her to live with us. To my surprise, what I thought was a kind gesture was seen by her as making her my accessory. If that's how she feels, then she should go back to where she belongs. When my parents returned, they found that Adeline and her mother were gone and asked me in surprise what had happened. I told my parents about how Adeline had arranged for her cousin to secretly take photos of me at the dance, and about how Adeline's father suddenly barged into our house late at night. My mother was deeply shaken at the thought of how close I had come to having my nude photos taken. Oh my God! If it weren't for our vigilant Iris, what would we have done now? My dad asked me with concern, "That scoundrel Griffin came to our house? Didn't he do anything to you? My child, how could you not call me about such a big matter?" I smiled. "Don't worry. The coach and the driver helped me, and I'm perfectly fine." Only then did my dad let out a long breath, his face turning grave, full of disappointment and heartache. "We've been nothing but good to Adeline. How could she do this to you?" My mother was furious too, saying it wasn't enough to just kick her out. Adeline had to be held accountable. I stopped them. Why would we even need to lift a finger? A week later, word got out that Adeline had suddenly appeared at the school gates in the dead of night, her body covered in wounds of all sizes, some from whipping, some from burns, others from sharp objects, and she was passed out drunk right there. If the school security guard hadn't found her in time, she would have been picked up by a passing vagrant. Rumors began to circulate that Adeline had been showing up at the bar every night, getting drunk and getting handsy with different men. Some classmates even claimed to have photos on their phones. Fresh out of school, Adeline's reputation was already in tatters. Word had it that after she and her mother moved back in with her biological father, beatings and verbal abuse became a daily routine, making her life a living hell. Every time she even thought about leaving, it would earn her another brutal beating from Griffin. Her 18th birthday came and went under these grim circumstances, passing by without fanfare. After 3 years of living as a pampered and respected young lady, how could she possibly endure the filthy urban village and her abusive father? Adeline stopped our car outside the Villa District. At the time, I was about to go with my mom to attend a charity gala. My mom was furious upon seeing Adeline, and I held her back to calm her down. "Mom, it's come to this. What more is there to say to her? Let me handle it." My mom glanced at Adeline, who was standing outside the car with a dark expression, and looked worried. "For the past 3 years, you treated her like a real sister. What did you ever do wrong? And now she dares to come to our door. Be careful, she might have some malicious intent again." I pointed to the security guard at the door, reassuring my mom. I knew Adeline wouldn't do anything to me, at least not for now, because she must be dying to see me go crazy with shock and excitement after receiving the admission notice. I jumped out of the car and strolled over to her. Adeline's eyes were filled with venom, and in just 2 weeks, she had changed so much from who she used to be. "Iris, it was you, wasn't it? That day in the car, you tricked me into saying those things on purpose, then reported me to the police and pinned the whole thing on me." "I tricked you? Did that really happen?" I covered my mouth and asked back in an exaggerated tone. "So, it wasn't Cyrus threatening you. You really were the one seducing him?" Adeline was speechless, the muscles in her face twitching. I sneered. "Is there anything else? I believe I've already returned your things and given your mother her wages." "Why?" Adeline suddenly shrieked, her face contorted. "Iris, why? Didn't you promise to treat me like your own sister? Little sister?" How dare Adeline have the nerve to question me? I gave a contemptuous smile. "Sorry, but I suddenly feel like you're not worthy." "Iris, you're so lucky. But isn't it just that you were born into the right family? Aside from my background, what do I lack compared to you?" I cut her off. "I was born into a better family than you. I'm better looking than you, and at least I don't have to stoop so low as to chase after men. I'm also smarter than you. My college entrance exam score was a full 200 points higher than yours." Adeline was absolutely furious, but the worst part was that everything I said was true, leaving her with no comeback. She said through gritted teeth, "Feeling pretty smug about acing the exam, are you? Just you wait, you'll be crying in a few days." I frowned, asking her what on earth she meant by that. Seeing my confusion, Adeline seemed to feel she'd finally scored a point and grew smug. "Do you think you're a shoo-in for Peking University? Nothing in this world is ever 100% certain." A soft car horn sounded behind me. My mom was urging me to hurry. Seeing I was about to turn and get in the car, Adeline blurted out, "Iris, I dare you to make a bet with me." "Bet on what?" "I bet you won't get into Peking University." I raised an eyebrow. "And the stakes are..." Her jealousy was no longer hidden as she viciously said, "If you don't get accepted, you owe me 5 million, and you have to run naked around the school, proclaiming you're the lowest, the biggest slut." 5 million, she really has the nerve to ask for that. "What if I do get accepted?" "If you get accepted, I'll let you do whatever you want." I pursed my lips and shook my head. "Even if I sold all your organs, it wouldn't amount to 5 million. However," I added, "I don't care about your money. If you lose, you just need to post something on your moments." Adeline didn't expect my demand to be so simple. "What friend circle? Just say this. All the nasty things you've ever said about me to anyone were fabricated by you. Adeline, you need to post a public apology to me on your social feed." Adeline was startled. You know? If you don't want others to know, don't do it. Do you dare?" Adeline was certainly confident that I wouldn't be admitted to Peking University, thinking she was about to get a great deal, and she was already uncontrollably excited. "Okay, it's a deal. No backing out." 3 days later, I arranged to meet Adeline at school. All students who applied to Tsinghua and Peking University were gathered in a large auditorium to check their admission results together. When Adeline appeared, Many people began whispering, and the content of their discussion was, of course, not pleasant. But Adeline no longer cared. She calmly walked into the auditorium and found a seat in the farthest corner. To avoid disrupting others from checking their results, I asked the teacher to place me last. Half an hour later, the 20 people ahead of me finished checking their results, and without exception, everyone confirmed they were admitted to Tsinghua or Peking University. When it was my turn, I glanced over at Adeline. She stood confidently with her arms crossed, and when our eyes met, she gave me a thumbs-down gesture. I calmly logged into my account and checked my application status. Congratulations, Iris, and thank you for bringing honor to our alma mater. My teacher beside me immediately exclaimed loudly upon seeing the result. At that moment, all the students in the auditorium cheered loudly. Surrounded by the crowd, I looked back at Adeline again. Her face was filled with shock. Adeline suddenly stood up, knocking over the chair behind her and startling everyone. She stumbled over, pushing through the crowd desperately, her eyes red as she leaned over the computer. The words "accepted" hit her hard. Impossible. This can't be. A girl close to me disdainfully moved away from Adeline. Adeline, are you okay? With Iris's total score of 680, getting into Peking University is a sure thing, isn't it? Adeline ignored everything, only repeating that it was impossible. Is there something wrong with her brain? Don't you remember she used to hang out with men all the time, covered in bruises? Who knows if she was playing some twisted game and it messed up her mind? Iris, seriously, you should stay far away from your cousin. I cleared my throat. There's something I need to clarify with everyone now, that is, Adeline is not my cousin. Adeline suddenly looked up, as if anticipating what I was about to say, her unease intensifying. I smiled faintly. Her mother has worked for our family for 3 years, diligently and very seriously, and we are all very grateful. The classmates were all taken aback. Someone muttered under their breath, "So you're saying Adeline is your housekeeper's daughter? Then why does she put on such airs all the time?" Exactly. It's not like there's anything wrong with being a housekeeper's daughter. A dog doesn't despise a poor home, nor a child an ugly mother. She's just so damn pretentious. Adeline staggered, steadying herself against the edge of the table to keep from falling. The persona she had meticulously cultivated for 3 years had completely crumbled. I sauntered over to her. Adeline, a bet's a bet. You know what you have to do. Don't even think about leaving here until it's done. Adeline couldn't figure out where it had all gone wrong. Why, after she had clearly tampered with my results, was I still admitted to Peking University? She stared at me intently, her chest heaving, her malicious intent glaringly obvious in her eyes. After a long while, she reluctantly took out her phone and, under my supervision, posted something on her moments. I nodded in satisfaction, signaling her to get lost. Adeline left reluctantly amidst the scorn and curses of the crowd. Half an hour later, I received a phone call. "Ms. Iris, Adeline is at the school gate with a bottle of sulfuric acid hidden in her sleeve." She's crazy. Adeline is indeed crazy. The relentless blows and setbacks had already pushed her beyond her breaking point. The only thing that kept her going this long was the desire to see the look of despair on my face when I failed. It's just a shame I had to disappoint her. A woman consumed entirely by jealousy is a truly terrifying thing. I anticipated her reckless actions and had someone keeping an eye on her. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't give her any chance to hurt me. As I walked out the gate chatting and laughing with my classmates, one of them spotted Adeline peeking from outside. "Adeline, why are you still here?" With an expressionless face, Adeline said, "I need to speak with Iris." I stood my ground, not moving, separated from her by the fence and a distance of 10 meters. "Go ahead, I'm listening." "Iris, you're still blaming me for what happened with Cyrus, aren't you? But I've already suffered a truly terrible and severe punishment. I just can't bear to lose the sisterhood we've built over these 3 years. I don't expect your forgiveness, whether you accept it or not. I truly want to apologize to you. Iris, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have deluded myself into trying to seduce Cyrus. You are a celestial fairy and noble lady. How can I compare to you? It was my mistake. Adeline is crying uncontrollably. Iris, right now I just want to hug you, as a way to put an end to our past, okay? If you're not willing, then just holding hands is fine. I watched her performance with great interest and finally couldn't help but applaud for her. Adeline, with acting skills like yours, you should audition for film school. Settling for a second-tier university is a waste of your talent. Adeline had humbled herself so much, yet I still wasn't fooled. She stopped crying, both annoyed and embarrassed. Iris, don't push your luck. Two police officers suddenly appeared behind Adeline. Are you Adeline? You are suspected of tampering with others' college entrance exam and illegally obtaining citizens' personal information. Please come with us. Adeline was just about to tear into me when she was abruptly cut off, and by such a bombshell of shocking news, no less. The look on her face was absolutely priceless. She stammered out a defense. I didn't. Whether you did or not, you'll find out when you come with us for questioning. Holy shit. The classmate beside me couldn't help but gasp in astonishment, then quickly covered their mouth upon realizing we were in front of the police. Officer, it was her. She snuck in and changed my university application while I was away. She almost ruined my chance of getting into Peking University. Adeline turned to stare at me blankly. Her eyes met my knowing gaze and widened in shock. That's right, I was the one who called the police. I didn't forget to warn the police. Her sleeve is bulging, as if there's something inside. Could it be a weapon? Be careful. A bottle of sulfuric acid was immediately found in Adeline's sleeve by the police. The two police officers exchanged a glance and, with serious expressions, took Adeline away. Of course, as the plaintiff, I had to follow along obediently. A classmate who witnessed the whole incident immediately posted about it in various group chats after we left, spreading the news far and wide. In less than 5 minutes, the story of how Adeline tampered with my Peking University application and was taken away by the police at the school gate after I personally reported her had spread throughout the entire school. I have video evidence of Adeline committing the act from start to finish, including a screen recording of her operating on my computer. The case is clear-cut. The evidence is solid. Adeline broke the law. My parents only found out about this then and were absolutely furious. They strongly demanded the judge punish Adeline severely. However, because I caught it in time and corrected my application, no serious harm was done. Adeline shouldn't have gotten a heavy sentence, but the Lin family got wind of this, pulled some strings, and in the end, Adeline was sentenced to 2 years in prison and ordered to pay a fine. Having to pay the fine infuriated Griffin. He swore that once Adeline got out, he'd break her legs. I went to visit her in prison, but Adeline refused to see me. I suppose she didn't want me to witness her at rock bottom. Cyrus has been keeping a remarkably low profile since the incident at the ball. After Adeline was sentenced, he had the audacity to contact me again. Iris, I was confused before, momentarily bewitched, and I know I was wrong. Now that we've both been admitted to schools in Beijing, I'll take care of you for the next 4 years of university. I rolled my eyes and promptly blocked him. Adeline doesn't exist in my life plan, and neither does a scumbag like you. If there's one good thing Adeline ever did, it was probably helping me see Cyrus for what he was, just a flashy, worthless jerk. At least she helped me cut my losses. Given a second chance at life, I'm going to seize the wonderful future that was always meant to be mine and hold it tight.